mentioned masks. We had Julie Bard, who's from Gibsonia, Pennsylvania. Yeah, he's right here. She has a question about that. You voted for Hillary Clinton last time, I believe.
Yes, I did. The wearing of masks has proven to lessen the spread of COVID. Why don't you support a mandate for national mask wearing? And why don't you wear a mask more often?
Well, I do wear them when I have to and when I'm in hospitals and other locations. But I will say this. They said at the Democrat convention they're going to do a national mandate. They never did it because they've checked out and they didn't do it. And a good question is you ask, like Joe Biden, they said we're going to do a national mandate on masks.
He's called on all governors to have them. It is
do it when I'm in hospitals and other. Do it. I mean, he never did it. Now, there is, by the way, a lot of people don't want to wear masks. There are a lot of people think the masks are not good. And there are a lot of people that, as an example,
Who are those people?
Well, I'll tell you who those people are. Waiters, they come over and they serve you and they have a mask. And I saw it the other day where they were serving me. And they're playing with a mask. I'm not blaming them, I'm just saying what happens. They're playing with a mask, so the mask is over, and they're touching it, and then they're touching the plate. That can't be good. There are a lot of people. If you look at Dr. Fauci's original statement, you look at a lot of people, CDC, you look at a lot of people's original statement, they said very strongly, George, don't wear masks. Then all of a sudden they went to wear masks. The concept of a mask is good, but it also does, you're constantly touching it, you're touching your face, you're touching plates. There are people that don't think masks are good.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more video...
No, George. It's Conte reporting. Good morning. Such mystical, magical music in the morning. What's up? George Stephanopoulos. So, good morning, everybody. So, how you doing? I went to Coney Island yesterday. It was beautiful. Oh, man. Connecting with the natural, with nature. Oh, there's some, there's all different kinds of nature, right? But there's nothing like, I don't know, if you're an ocean person, if you're landlocked, if you're in the middle of the country somewhere and you think of like a beach as a lake, I got to tell you, man, it's nothing like the ocean, the direct exposure to the ocean. That's where Coney Island is. It's actually, Coney Island's a little blocked by another beach, Far Rockaway. But it's pretty much beautiful. I mean, the air, the sand, the sound of the ocean, the birds, there's just something connective, the salt water. There's something incredibly connective about the ocean. And I don't know exactly what it is, but it's right up there with trees and grass, and everybody's got to do that shit, man. Somebody sent me this shirt. Thank you very much. I don't know who you are, but I opened the mail, right? Somebody sent me this very fucking cool shirt. Look at this shit. Politics is dead. Politics is dead. Why aren't I wearing it? Because it's a medium. I'm like a large, but I'll wear it. I'll wear it once or twice. I'll wear it, or I'll give it to somebody very attractive to wear. I'm not going to give away a shirt. Well, I'll hang it on the wall. I'll keep the shirt, man. Thank you very much. Somebody from somebody. I don't know if it's. I don't know where it came from, but Florida. The envelope said Florida. So thank you very much. I like it. I really like it. I think I like the black on the darker color. It kind of you have to kind of squeeze a little bit to see it. So today, I don't know, there's a lot. We're going to revisit the fires. A lot of people are dead. Right? So now it's becoming not only arson, but it's becoming murder. So if anybody's lighting a fire, where's the disconnect in law enforcement? If someone is caught lighting a fire in the West Coast during fire season, right, escalating the tragedy for people, and then ultimately some people dying, isn't that murder? Shouldn't that be a capital offense? Shouldn't that be, it's bad news, right? You light a fire and it kills somebody and inadvertently, or 100 miles away from where you lit the fire and it spreads and you kill somebody. It's a fucking psychopath, right? You should be, that's arson. You did it, and then it's murder, right? You're murdering people. You know that the fires are going to spread and you're killing people, but there's no There doesn't seem to be any connection to that. We'll talk about that and my theory. This is a working theory that, although I can't prove it, you just heard Trump in his own words say it. We'll listen again. I'll play that clip again for you, and we'll talk about it. But Trump was asked about the mask mandate. My thought is that most ugly people, if you're ugly, you like a mask. You do this, you put this shit on, right? I'm fucking ugly, man. I hate my face. I'm so fucking ugly. That's what people say. So they do this, right? And they put this thing on, right? Ow, feedback, right? And now, even though they can't breathe, look, my glasses immediately fog up. I don't know how the fuck people do this. I'm not even 3 sentences in, and I got to take this stupid thing off. And you see people all over the city walking outside. I saw people on the beach with a mask. But this is to protect yourself from being ugly. See, you don't know who I am anymore. You don't know if I'm handsome. All you see is my beautiful hair. But if I didn't have beautiful hair, I would be really, I could be, I could be ugly as sin, right? So I snapped the mask on, right? And so I think that there needs to be scientific studies that show the correlation between people who prefer masks and their ugliness. There should be a chart for that, right? Somebody should chart that out. How many of the people that prefer masks? Line them up, and we'll determine. We'll have a people's jury. I had someone who says, I think masks are important. And I say, okay, take your mask off just for 1 second so we can see what your face looks like. And I bet they're ugly. I bet most of the people that prefer masks are ugly because it's an advantage, right? It puts them in the same, in the same realm as good-looking people. Right? They hide behind the mask, right? They're hiding behind the mask. But let's watch one ugly person.
You mentioned masks. We had Julie Bart, who's from Gibsonia, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
She's right here. She has a question about that. You voted for Hillary Clinton last time, I believe.
She voted for Hillary Clinton, and she is fat and ugly. Look.
I did. The wearing of masks has proven to lessen the spread of
Look at the flub. Look at the layers of fat. And look at the horrible dress, right? She's hiding her ugly face. And that's not because she's old. Old don't make you ugly. She's just fat, out of shape, got a pudgy face, like a punching bag face, and she probably has like all fucked up teeth, and she's ugly. She's an ugly person, right? So she prefers the mask, right?
COVID. Why don't you support a mandate for national mask wearing, and why don't you wear a mask more often?
Well, I do wear them when I have to and when I'm in hospitals and other locations. But I will say this. They said at the Democrat convention they're going to do...
Look at the ugliness. Look, she's got 3 chins. The black mask hides the 3 chins. All right, all you see is her eyes. Next she'll be wearing glasses. She should be wearing glasses to hide her ugly eyes. Right?
do a national mandate.
No makeup. You don't need makeup anymore. Makeup doesn't make up the makeup business. Oh my God, it must be getting killed, right?
They never did it because they've checked out and they didn't do it. And
look at her breathing. Look at her chest. Look at all her flub moving.
A good question is you ask, like Joe Biden, they said we're going to do a national mandate on masks.
He's called on all governors to have them. It is a state responsibility.
No, but he didn't do it. I mean, he never did it. Now, there is, by the way, a lot of people don't want to wear masks. There are a lot of people think the masks are not good.
A lot of people think the masks are not good. Is that what Trump just said?
And there are a lot of people that, as an example,
Who are those people?
Well, I'll tell you who those people are. Waiters, they come over and they serve you and they have a mask. And I saw it the other day where they were serving me. And they're playing with a mask. I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying what happens. They're playing with a mask, so the mask is over, and they're touching it, and then they're touching the plate. That can't be good. There are a lot of people. If you look at Dr. Fauci's original statement, you look at a lot of people, CDC, you look at a lot of people's original statement, they said very strongly, George, don't wear masks. Then all of a sudden they went to wear masks. The concept of a mask is good, but it also does, you're constantly touching it, you're touching your face, you're touching plates. There are people that don't think masks are good.
And she's not going to be, she'll never be satisfied. Fat, ugly lady. Fat, ugly lady says, I just don't like you, Trump. I don't like you. You want me to get sick. No, you know why? If you really cared, fat lady, fat ugly lady, if you really, really cared about your health, you wouldn't be gigantic. You wouldn't be the size of two people. You wouldn't be eating twice as much as you should and twice as much of the shit, the bad stuff. Right? You'd be out exercising your fat ass and making yourself healthy, and stop blaming everybody else for your sickness, for your fat, ugly sickness. That's what you should be doing. But instead, you want to blame the president of the United States for not imposing martial law, forcing people to suffocate themselves and harm themselves by not being able to breathe fresh air outside, or in their own home, or wherever the fuck, right? Wherever there's air to be had. Right? That's my take on it. So I believe that survey says, and I can't prove it, but over time we probably will. Anybody who is adamant about a mask, I guarantee you, there's a high correlation between their ugliness. So good morning, everybody in the chat. Thank you very much. This is the hodgepodge. That's just the working theory. That's really all I have on the mask idea. But we're going to talk about. There's a lot of stuff in the news. I want to talk about John Bolton. I want to talk about. What do I want to talk about? There's a little bit of a conspiracy election rigging going on in Florida that we'll look into. One side is saying that Trump is using QAnon stuff to pollute Florida so that it swings red. Meanwhile, Bloomberg, right, Mike Bloomberg, the 50 billionaire, spending $100 million. Well, look at that controversy there. Down in Florida, the swing state of Florida. John Bolton is under criminal investigation, the Trump administration, criminal investigation for writing his memoirs. Trump says he leaked classified information. We'll have a look at that. So John Bolton, QAnon people, hey Q. He said lock them up. They're going to all get locked up. Lock them up. You might be right. So Bolton's going down. John Bolton, the guy with the mustache, the warmonger, the guy the troika of evil, the guy who said Venezuela's eating themselves, eating pets. Fucking big liar, right? A little marijuana reform news. State plows forward with pot or without pot. Congress. And a lot of this, there's a settlement in the Breonna Taylor. You remember, say her name. The Black Lives Matter people, say her name. Just take a quick look at that, see how much and to what degree the government paid out the family of Breonna Taylor. And let's see if it makes the Black Lives Matter people happy, because they say it's race. It was racism and not a cop blunder. Cops make mistakes, right? And there's other cop news, and we're going to stroll down this. Still, the notion of arson versus natural causes in Oregon, Washington, and California. Still, in my view, no solid, bulletproof, inescapable evidence that puts arson at the center of the fires. There is evidence. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence, but there's still not that smoking gun evidence, for lack of a better term. The smoking gun evidence where you actually have a scumbag lighting the fire and an arrest and the gas can and the torch, and you've got all the goodies. Right? We're still looking for that. I think it was just, if it was done very sneakily. At this point, they got away with it. Now you got to watch for the loose lips to see if they flap about it. And we'll look at the devastation, dead bodies, a lot of dead people now in those states, 20s, 30, 40, 50 people. And we'll look at all that. We'll look at all that stuff, man. So thank you for joining me in the chat. Marcus Conte reporting. Kindly don't be a dick in the chat. Vinny DiMartini is on the wrench. And all beautiful people are here. Bill West is here. Mike Fletcher, Mr. Mighty McWhitey. her pooper. Awakened Alliance and everybody else that's here. Thank you very much. Sassafras is here. So what are we doing here? What are we doing? All right, some people are in the house. We got people in the house. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for your ongoing support. My name is Marcus Conte, and I'm an investigative reporter, for lack of a better term, and a lot of other things. Some would say that I'm actually a comedian of some sort. I'm a fucking news comedian riffing on the news. But kindly, we break a lot of ground here. I think I was one of the. I think yesterday was good. Yesterday was a good day. It was a long day, and we really looked at all of the evidence on the ground to find the link between arson and the alleged wildfire. They are wild, but who's setting them, if any? Is it Mother Nature getting a little help? I thought that was a good, a poignant thing to do. And I think it'll age well. I think as we find out more, it'll age well. But also today, the idea of ugly people wearing masks, I think there's some justification to that. Really. I mean, as stupid as it is, as ignorant and as I think it is that severe. It is that serious. I'd rather wear a mask so you don't look at me like I'm an ugly person anymore. Suddenly I put this mask on and people are not swinging their head around looking at me because I'm ugly. It's real. That's a real phenomenon. Attractive people, you could ask any attractive person in their youth, as they start to lose their attractiveness, they lose their sense of self. Right? Very attractive women, especially young women, that are every head in the room turns when they walk in, when they're 19, 20, and 23. And then as they get into like 37 and 39 and 42 and 51, suddenly the heads don't turn, and they become a different person because their foundation is in that I'm attractive. That's my power. So people that are ugly suddenly don't have that disadvantage. Very real phenomenon. Very real. You have to be a very, very astute psychic to really understand what the hell I'm talking about. But you get it. I think regular people can get it too. It's a good theory, right? So kindly go to marcusconte.com and we'll keep doing this. I'm here if you're here. Right? If you keep helping me, I'll help you. Right? By throwing some change in the tip jar and become a monthly subscriber at Patreon. So that was Trump duking it out on ABC with some fat lady about a mask. There was other things talked about, but I don't really care. Let's. I guess what do I got queued up first? I think I got this misplaced. Let me put this over here. Yeah. Let's talk about this. So start off with dumb Joe Biden. Joe Biden says that about thousands of troops died in Iran. Gaff King, the senile old man known as Joe Biden, running for the presidency of the United States, trying to unseat Trump in an unprecedented way. Unprecedented meaning that he's not doing any campaigning. He stands for nothing. All he stands for is I'm not Trump, and I picked a black for my VP, that black woman. He's got nothing, total nothing. So it'd be unprecedented if he wins this without campaigning, because he's hiding behind his mask. Is he ugly? Yeah, he's weird looking, right? He's weird. His fucking face doesn't look the same anymore. He's mostly hiding behind a mask. Not right now. But anyway, let's listen to Joe Biden's massive gaffe. He's blasting Trump, and he gets Iran and Iraq mixed up. Listen.
U.S. troops died in Iran and Afghanistan.
In Iran and Afghanistan. Listen one more time. Joe Biden says U.S. troops died in Iran and Afghanistan.
U.S. troops died in Iran and Afghanistan.
Did they, Joe?
6,000, as of today, 923. Not roughly 6,900, 923.
So 6,923 soldiers died in Iraq, Joe. Iraq and Afghanistan, not Iran, you dummy. You senile old man, right? It's okay to be a little senile. It's okay to be a little unsharp, but not when you're running for the presidency of the United States. We have sharp people in this country. We have smart, articulate people with full brain capacity. Why would you want to pick this old fuck that doesn't know the difference between Iran and Iraq? Just pick one. Just pick one. Blow somebody up already. You can see him in the White House, right? While he's sipping his Ensure and having his diaper cleaned, he's going to say, yeah, just blow somebody up. Iran, Iraq, I don't know. Just fill me in on who we blew up. Right, that kind of shit. Oops.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought...
Oh, fuck.
Hi, I'm Stacey Abrams.
Oh, no, it's you again. I hate this lady. We accidentally got the commercial so we could diss on Stacey Abrams. Look at you, fat, ugly, you money grabber. Stacey, I'm not giving you shit. I'm not going to give you anything, you cunt.
And I'm personally asking you to sign the petition to demand vote by mail.
And I'm personally asking you to fuck off.
If we're going to win up and down the ballot this election, we're going to have to overcome systematic voter suppression.
Systematic voter suppression. Systematic voter suppression. You mean what the Democrats do when they stuff they eliminate 200,000 purge 200,000 names in Brooklyn alone, things like that? You mean or when they fudge the exit polls, when the exit polls don't match the actual vote? Oh yeah, that stuff. Yeah. That's the Republicans.
That's why it's so urgent that we demand equal and safe access to the ballot box.
A fucking Democrat saying free. What a liar. What a liar.
U.S. troops died in Iran and Afghanistan. 6,000, as of today, 923. Not roughly 6,900, 923.
I know it's a little low, but that's how they put it out. RT.
Because every one of these fallen angels left behind a family, left behind a community. There's an empty seat at that table now.
He never corrects himself, right? He never corrects himself. It's just a massive blunder going into an election. He doesn't know. Does he know, or is just somebody had to point it out to him afterwards? Anyway, this is fucked up. Right? Now I know the Q people want everybody, surrounding the deep state. The deep state. John Bolton is a member of that deep state, of course. He's the muscle. He's the political muscle for the deep state, arguably. I knew that. Everybody knew that before Trump knew it. Trump figured it out later, but John Bolton is clearly in the pocket with the military-industrial complex, no doubt about it. But in a striking turn of events, Justice Department reportedly opens criminal investigation into John Bolton's memoir. Now, I got to say, slippery slope, Trump. This is right up there with Julian Assange. Persecuting, attacking speech. I don't know. Now, did John Bolton have access to classified information? Yes, John Bolton did. He was the national security advisor. So Trump has a leg to stand on there, but you're threading a very fine line between freedom of speech, freedom of the press here. I'm not taking John Bolton's back because he is a scumbag and he should burn, but not unjustly. Right? So let's just read a little bit. Washington Post, the Department of Justice has opened a criminal investigation into whether President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, unlawfully disclosed classified information when he published his bombshell memoir, The Room Where It Happened, according to a new report. The department has formed a grand jury. Wow. This is you got to be careful. This is Trump and William Barr trying to get back at a political enemy, or was there genuinely classified information leaked, which Trump hates? But I don't know. I don't know. We don't know at this point. But the department has formed a grand jury and subpoenaed communications from Bolton's publisher Simon & Schuster after the government failed to block the release of the book earlier this summer. Trump administration sued Bolton in June in a bid to delay the publication of the tell-all about Bolton's 17 months in the White House, arguing that he had received final clearance. He had not received final clearance before the government had completed its security review. So they're calling Bolton a leaker. That's what they're doing. A federal judge rejected the lawsuit, arguing that the horse was already out of the barn, with previews of the memoir already distributed to the media. Oh, so that makes a difference? Did he leak classified information is the question. With hundreds of thousands of copies around the globe, many in newsrooms, the damage is done. There is no restoring the status quo, said a judge. According to the Times, I guess the New York Times, John Radcliffe, the newly installed director of national intelligence, referred the matter to the Justice Department last month. All right, so Trump's new appointee made a referral that John Bolton get locked up for leaking classified information. Bolton, who served from April 2018 to September 2019, denied he released classified information in his book, which gave a brutally critical account of the Trump administration. Allies of the president call Bolton a disgruntled employee. Trump made his displeasure known June 23rd in a tweet. Quote, Trump calling out Bolton. Washed up creepster John Bolton is a lowlife who should be in jail. Money seized for disseminating for-profit, highly classified information, Trump wrote. So an interesting story to follow. Is Bolton a nice guy and deserves protection and deserves our sympathy? Absolutely not. He deserves to burn for the things he did in South America, the lies he told the American people regarding Venezuela and Cuba and everywhere else he goes, Syria, North Korea, China. He's a fucking liar. The guy's a warmonger. He's in the pocket of the military-industrial complex. But did he leak classified information, or is this a Trump vendetta? We shall find out. So let's start here, right? So this is fucking crazy. The Florida Latinos swamped by wild conspiracy theories. Oh, good. Q. I love you. I love you, Q. I love you. Q, you're so sexy. Q, you're so sexy. So this is fucking crazy. Florida Latinos swamped by wild conspiracy theories. Now, let's take a look, because I got another conspiracy theory right here. You see this guy? This is Mike Bloomberg, who pledged, I talked about this the other day, pledged $100 million to flip Florida for Joe Biden. And here it is, the mainstream media blaming Q. Q is crazy conspiracy theory because it's not funded by a billionaire. But when a billionaire does it, when a billionaire goes out in front of the cameras and lies to you about the American president, about the American way of life, that is not conspiracy theory. That is money talking. So let's listen to what Q had to say. The fight is over the swing state of Florida, which Trump has turned red in 2016 by a narrow margin. Right? There's 5 other states too that are probably in the same situation, but for some reason everybody's focusing on Florida. If you win Florida, Biden's camp probably thinks if he can win Florida, he'll win everything, but he's not, because you have Michigan, you have Wisconsin, you have Ohio, you have Pennsylvania, you have other states that Biden would have to flip as well to steal the presidency from Trump. So here's the spin, right? George Soros directs a deep state global conspiracy network. Is there any truth to that? Yeah, there's a little truth to that. George Soros dumps his money into conspiracy. Yeah. Deep state global conspiracy network. Well, that's not really what George Soros is accused of doing. George Soros is accused of doing what Michael Bloomberg does, is dump money into politics to swing the narrative wherever it goes, and always in his favor, in the favor of Wall Street. So is the opening line deceptive? No, not at all. Is it fair? Yeah, it is fair. It's freedom of speech. A Joe Biden win would put America in control of Jews and blacks, says Q. Did he say that? No, not really. There's a lot of anti-Jew shit and black shit, but whatever. It's just an opinion. The Democratic nominee has a pedophile problem. Now, I don't remember. Oh yeah, all right. Well, Q, based on the photos of Joe Biden touching children, that would be true as well. Wild disinformation like this is inundating Spanish-speaking residents of South Florida ahead of Election Day, clogging their WhatsApp apps, WhatsApp chats, Facebook feeds, and even radio airwaves at a saturation level that threatens to shape the outcome in the nation's biggest and most closely contested swing state. Great. Okay, so why? It's politics. It's campaigning. People can't have an opinion and try to speak that opinion to others. That's against the law now. Why is it against the law? Is it illegal to do that? No. It's not illegal. It's fair game. Just like Michael Bloomberg dumping $100 million to swing Florida, it's fair game. They're the same thing. The sheer volume of conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theory? You mean the theory that Russia hacked the election and that was working closely with Rachel Maddow and the CIA to inform the American people how Russia tried to overthrow our government? Those kind of conspiracy theories with no evidence? Yeah. The sheer volume of conspiracy theories, including QAnon, the deceptive claims are already playing a role in stunting Biden's growth with Latino voters, who make up 17% of the state's electorate. So here you go. Here's the setup. If Trump wins the electorate, the Latino electorate, then that is a direct result of the terrorist organization Q, the chat board Q, who I mean, there's with every kind of movement, especially something like Q. You're always going to have extremists. You have extremists with Antifa. You have some people that are in the middle of the way. They're middle way. And then you have the extremists, right? I think there's way, way more extremism. I mean, unquestionably more extremism on the left in terms of Antifa, where they're setting things on fire and smashing windows. Whereas Q is simply, pointing to the obvious, pointing to the corruption within our government, right? One is actually a good thing. The thing that Q does is actually rather good. And every once in a while, you'll get some crackpot that thinks that Q is speaking directly to him, and he goes out and he shoots somebody up, like the QAnon killer, Gambino crime boss. He shot the Gambino crime boss, Anthony Camillo. Those are extremes. Those are exceptions to the rule. Anyway, the onslaught has had an effect, said Eduardo Guadarrano. Eduardo, a pollster and director of the Latino Public Opinion Forum at Florida International University. It's difficult to measure the effect exactly, but the polling sort of shows it, and in focus groups it shows, with people deeply questioning the Democrats and referring to the deep state in particular. And there's a real conspiracy against the president from the inside, he said. There's a strain in our political culture that's accustomed to conspiracy theories. What is the fucking point of this article, Politico? What? You're trying to say that it's Q's fault that Joe Biden's going to lose Florida because he loses the Latino vote. So let's shut down the next move. I'll interpret for you. The next move is shut down QAnon. Now it's still only September 16. They still have 6 weeks to shut down what they consider conservative voices or voices that support the president of the United States. The mainstream media is gonna do what they can to shut it down, and they're gonna lean on things like this, bogus research, bogus shit. But stuff like this right here, where Mike Bloomberg pledges $100 million to flip Florida for Joe Biden, that's celebrated. That's in leftist channels in leftist communities or leftist whatever they're called, right? Political circles. This is celebrated. This is good. This is money well spent. We are spending Mike Bloomberg, who we love, who was one of our candidates, is going to take $100 million of his fortune and smear the high hell out of Trump in Florida. And that's okay. That's okay. But when a couple of patriots chat and organize online, we got to stop that. We got to stop that. Why? Because the money doesn't control it. See, we want a society of wealthy people where money speaks, right? Fuck you and all your poor people. We don't have any more use for these poor people. It's too many fucking poor people. Why don't you go outside and catch the coronavirus? We put that out there for you. You mean they're still alive? We tried to. How many did we kill? We killed a good number of them, but we didn't kill enough of them, right? We got to try something else, right? Shut them down online, right? Like, for example, in Coney Island, where I was yesterday, get rid of these poor people and we'll take over Coney Island because it's beautiful. We'll build sky rises, wealthy buildings right on the boardwalk. We'll push the poor people out. Just kill them, man. Spread that fucking corona shit, man. Get that shit, put it in the projects, and get rid of these people, right? Because that's the real deal. The money, man. The money fucking speaks, man. Let the money speak. What's this voice? What's this shit about people wanting to, have a voice? That's like, isn't that old America? Isn't that shit's in the old fucking Constitution, man? We got to get rid of that shit. I just kicked my shit, man. Did I just kick my shit? All right, that's old shit, man. Let's get busy, man. Let's get busy. Let's get on the side of the money, right? Come on, people. If people, in seriousness, if people's opinions were leading this great nation, then we would have free. You can solve that with fair elections. Fair elections, the people choose, and then policy occurs. Right. For example, universal single-payer healthcare or a universal system of healthcare in this country is wildly popular to the tune of 70% of the country. Even poor Republicans would say, "Yeah, I could use some free healthcare." Everybody agrees that it's a good thing, but even when people agree, the government, the elected officials don't agree. Why? Because they answer to guys like Michael Bloomberg, they take that money. Right? So they have, rather than fulfill their life's dream of being a politician for the people, some of them do, they take that money and say, you know what? It's a good idea, but this $100,000 in my pocket is really, really comfortable. I like this. I get it. I get what the rich people are saying. I understand now that money's good. I like money. Money is like, I don't worry as much anymore because I got all this money, right? I got this. Someone just gave me $100,000 to put my name on this stupid bill. I don't support Bloomberg. Who gives a fuck, man? Look, it's all about me anyway, right? I'm the human species, right? All I care about is myself. Right? That's how people think. Right? Unfortunately, right? That's how our politicians think. You got to take away. If you understand that, you have to take power away from them and restore it to the people. QAnon is clearly a movement of the people, so you have to support it. However kooky and disorganized it is, it doesn't matter. But this is what you should be afraid of. This right here, this cocksucker, Mike Bloomberg, pledging $100 million is far more devastating than anything that Q could say, in my view. So, good morning, everybody in the chat. Thank you for bearing with me. We're gonna look at the some more of the wildfires. We'll play it out at the end, all the way to the end. There's a lot of destruction, a lot of death, a lot of unfortunate shit going on. For the people in the West, smoke and fire and arson. Right? So we'll look at all that. But right now, states plow forward with pot. with or without Congress. We need our pot, right? We need our pot. Pot, come on. It's a right. It's an herb. It's just like alcohol. What's the big deal? What is the big deal of someone getting a little high, getting a little tipsy on a beer? What is the fucking crime here? Why is this a crime? Why are these things still a crime? I know there's an argument to be made about heroin and crack cocaine and methamphetamine and more severely refined products such as those. So marijuana is not really a refined product. It's genetically refined. Alcohol is a refined product. You could say that refineries, refine out alcohol to make it more concentrated but it can only get so concentrated. It can only get to 100 proof. It could get to 200 proof. It could be 100% alcohol or 99.9% alcohol. That could happen. But with marijuana, it's not really a refined product at all. Here's the bud. It grows naturally in its natural state, but it has genetically been altered to be stronger, have a higher concentration of THC and other additives. So you can't really call it it's not really technically a refined product, but why? Why is it illegal? Why is something like this still illegal in our day and age? It's beyond me. In a lot of states, it's not. I know if you're in those smoke-filled states, no pun intended, but the smoke-filled states of the West have legal marijuana. Maybe they're clearing out those houses so they can grow. Maybe Antifa is going to go into farming and they're going to start farming marijuana on your burnt house, something like that. But here you go. Roughly 1 in 3 Americans could have access to legal recreational marijuana if voters approve the state ballot initiatives in November. Well, that's good. 1 in a third. But what about the other 2/3 that are still treated like criminals for indulging? While the plant, look, marijuana probably has a lot of medical benefits. It certainly has spiritual benefits. It calms people down. It relaxes people. It makes you think, or lack thereof. Right? It has significant psychological and physical effects on the psyche and on the body. And many of them, if used properly, are probably very, very beneficial to your health. There is arguments that one alcoholic beverage every once in a while actually has a positive, effect. I don't know about biologically, but certainly spiritually. Right? So those are arguments. You could also say that heroin is spiritual. But anyway, while a planned House vote on legalizing weed at the federal level is scheduled for late this month, September, late this month, the House is going to vote on legalized marijuana on a federal level. And the Senate, thank you Republicans, is poised to squash that vote in the Senate, and it'll never get to Trump. So the 100 senators are controlling the narrative. Trump can today, by executive order, remove marijuana from the controlled substance list, but he has not done that. Bernie Sanders vowed to do it. Biden has not vowed to do it. And that's where we are right now. We have 2 contenders running for president, Trump and Biden, who are both against marijuana legalization, which is ridiculous, which is absurd. Bernie Sanders said he would have done it on day 1. While the planned House vote on legalizing weed at the federal level is scheduled for late this month, the real action remains in the states. That's because even if the House measure passes, there's zero chance the Republican-controlled Senate will take up the bill, which would eliminate federal criminal penalties and erase some past marijuana convictions. Right? Would eliminate federal criminal penalties. Once that is done, then it's just there's no federal crime anymore, and the states will roll over accordingly. Right? But the federal government continuing to take a hands-off approach when it comes to cracking down on state legal markets, 5 more states could make it legal to buy weed for medical and recreational purposes. So let's just look at the states that are thinking about it. So New Jersey, oh, it's good for New York, right? Because New Jersey, some places in New York, you could throw a rock and hit New Jersey. It's an easy drive. There's no border. It's just you drive right over the bridge and boom, you're in New Jersey. Upstate is connected to New Jersey, so that would be good for New York. Even in New York City, you could take various trains and public transportation right over to Newark, to places like Hoboken, Hoboken, right? Those will become pot sanctuaries, right? Right where you could actually see the Manhattan skyline and smoke marijuana legally, right? So I think that New York better get off their ass, because if New Jersey, lawmakers in New Jersey already are working on a bill to implement a recreational marijuana ballot question. That looks likely to pass. Likely to pass based on polling. So New Jersey, if New Jersey goes, and it says the state has nearly 9 million residents and is close to major cities, including New York and Philadelphia. So that will be the run. Everybody will be running over the border to buy their legal weed instead of giving it to the drug dealer and risk getting shot in the head. Giving it to the drug dealer standing on the corner, right? And breaking the law, right? Breaking laws just to get a little weed. They'll just drive over the bridge, go to the Jersey side, go down to Jersey Shore, go down to Asbury Park and smoke your fucking brains out, man. Dude, you're fucking getting high in New Jersey, right? So if New Jersey rolls, New York and Pennsylvania, they gotta listen. You gotta listen, right? New Jersey's gonna make bank. New Jersey making bank. It's just like the tattoo shit. Tattoos used to be illegal in New York until they became fucking legal. It's crazy. Arizona as well. Arizona is surrounded by other states. California. I think it borders Texas too, right? Doesn't Arizona border Texas? So Arizona would make Texans more legal marijuana, more available in Texas. So Mississippi, of all places, wow, Mississippi, Montana, which already has medical marijuana, would move. South Dakota, this is interesting. South Dakota, which has no forms of legal marijuana, not even medical, has both referendums on the ballot, legal, medical and recreational. Why do you need medical? First of all, why would you need to continue medical programs, medical marijuana programs, when you have recreational marijuana? What do you have? Medical alcohol programs? Do you have medical alcohol programs where you prescribe alcohol to people? No. So why would you have a recreational substance under medical supervision? Right? You can reach out to a medical professional and get that advice. So those are the states' COVID setbacks because of coronavirus, of course. I laughed yesterday. I realized I laughed yesterday when the report said that COVID-19, that the wildfires can contribute to COVID-19. Right? Now, there is some evidence to suggest that a bad respiratory system makes you more susceptible to flus like COVID-19. However, the spin will be that the wildfires cause COVID-19. See how that works? It's the wildfires cause COVID-19. So anybody who dies of wildfires dies of COVID-19. See how that works out? So you can up the COVID-19 numbers and keep the muzzle on people's faces. So some interesting stuff. So let's talk about Breonna Taylor quickly, because this is one of the names that Black Lives Matter chants in the streets. Say her name. Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor. Say her name. Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor. That's what they are. They're out in the streets saying that shit. So Louisville officials detailed $12 million settlement for a family of Breonna Taylor. The city of Louisville, Kentucky, on Tuesday announced a $12 million settlement with the family of Breonna Taylor, the black EMT, fatally shot by cops during a botched raid on her home. That was a disgrace, right? The cops barge in, they start shooting people up based on bad information. It's horrible, it's stupid. It's a fucking police blunder. Is it the shining example of police racism? I don't know. I don't know. The amount handling surpasses its 8.5 million expected. Coughed up in 2012 to a wrongful imprisoned man. So it's the largest sum ever awarded by the city in a police misconduct suit, and comes in addition to police reforms to prevent a similar tragedy. So here she is, the lovely Breonna Taylor, died young, was shot up. Authorities believe that Taylor's ex-boyfriend was stashing drugs and cash in the apartment, but nothing illegal was found. So Miss Breonna Taylor and Black Lives Matter, what would have saved Breonna Taylor's life more? Decriminalizing drugs and cash, or blaming it on racist cops? What do you think is a better way to go? Maybe just de-escalating by looking at the cause of the concern, the drugs. We just talked about legalizing marijuana. Legalize other drugs. Don't make it available to everybody, but just make it where it's not filling up the prisons and the crime, with crime, keeping the price very high, so that a junkie, to get his $10 hit, he's got to take it out. He's got to take it from you. A junkie. That's how a junkie views it. The junkie sees the camera hanging on your neck, or the gold chain, or the watch, or the cell phone that he can flip, or even to some degree, a nice pair of shoes, or a pocketbook, or something that you have. The junkie sees you. He sees the item and you standing in the way of his $10 hit. So all I need to do is grab that shit. I need to grab that shit and flip it so I can get my $10 hit. So now if you made like, for example, methadone freely available, put it in drugstores where you can go in and buy your methadone, right? Buy some methadone, go sit in the corner, and you won't kill anybody for heroin, because it scratches that itch for at least a little while. So here's the real Breonna Taylor. She's got a tattoo on her neck. She's got a neck tattoo. That makes her a radical. So anyway, that's the Breonna Taylor story. I wonder if it's going to settle Black Lives Matter's. Are they going to be happy about this? Do we see any celebrations in the community, or is that $12 million going to be funneled back? Maybe that's the play, right? Now the Breonna Taylor family is going to shave off $1 million or $2 million and say, "See, we got your money." The Black Lives Matter. "See, we got you that money. You got to give us something. You got to donate $1 million to each one of our efforts." Right. Follow the money. See how the family of Breonna Taylor reciprocates this money back to the radicals that got her the money in the first place. The Black Lives Matter movement. Should be interesting. This is disgusting right here. A little disgust for you. Hold on a second. This'll if that didn't bother you, this'll definitely bother you. Protesters calling for ambushed deputy's death are almost worthy of ISIS. Protesters calling for ambushed deputy's death are almost worthy of ISIS, says the sheriff. Right now, this stems from the case of the two sheriffs parked in California, where the little midget. We saw the video of the midget running up to the cop car and unloading a handgun into the window and then running away like a little child. Right? So, in light of that, Antifa and Black Lives Matter decided to go to the hospital where the police were going to be brought, and stand in the doorway and say, "Let them die," blocking the hospital, blocking the fucking ambulance from getting into the hospital, saying, "Let them die." Right? And this fine sheriff says that's like ISIS shit, So let's read. L.A. County Sheriff Alex Villanova said, "Ooh, he's Spanish. He's a Hispanic. He's a Hispanic speaking out against Black Lives Matter. What does that mean? I mean, I guess he's a racist too. Is he a racist or is he a cop? Is he a racist cop or is he a cop and a racist or he's neither? What is he? Doesn't make sense, right? Identity politics, it doesn't make sense. It's bullshit. I was walking on Coney Island. I didn't see black people and white people and Mexican people and yellow people. I saw people. Russians. Everybody's there, right? In Coney Island. Nobody bothers anybody. This notion that people hate each other it's fictional. It's bullshit. It's media hype, you know? And, you know, that's my experience living in a big city. There's some truth to it. There are racists in the world, but it doesn't necessarily, those racist, you know, ideas don't necessarily manifest into violence like we're seeing now. The extremes, the extreme behavior, the extreme climate, the extreme politics. It's just a new low for hatred, said the sheriff. And I don't think anyone in this nation has ever seen it before. See, Mr. Villanova identifying the extremes of hate. Excuse me, I was there. It's a new low for hatred. And I don't think anyone in this nation has ever seen it before. I would agree with that. I think we are seeing new lows. Burning someone's property, setting the mountains on fire because of a political agenda. You know, it's crazy. It's terrorism. It's anarchy. It's you know, people love that shit too. They love anarchy. People. I remember a guy, right? I ran into this guy at one of these rallies, right? I was out front. I look like a long hair. They don't know who I am. No camera out. And I asked him, I say, hey, he's on his bike. He's leading the charge. He's leading, you know, a couple of hundred Black Lives Matter people in the street behind him. And he's out front on the bikes. He's with the bike crew. You know, they survey out front. They ride ahead of the crowd to see what's going on, and they feed it back to the crowd. So I asked one of these kids, right? He doesn't know who I am or what I'm doing. I'm just standing there. I said, oh, you having fun? I said, yeah, I'm having fun. I love it. It feels good. It feels good. I feel at home. I'm you know, I love anarchy, and this is they need the help, and this is, you know, chaos. I love this shit. He didn't have any black-white agenda. He just loved the chaos. And there are people that are like that just gravitate to the confusion, gravitate to the hate. It's like they feel comfortable there. It's like, oh man, I've been waiting for this my whole life. Right? Let's start breaking shit. Right? What's the political agenda? I don't fucking know, but it's fun to break shit. Finally, we got to break and burn, and kill. There's crazy people in the world. Right? You know what I'm saying, man? You know what I'm saying? This shit is crazy. We just don't expect it on our own shores, and we have been here fighting to save people's lives across the country. It doesn't matter who you are, and it is not something we are going to expect or tolerate, says the deputy. So anyway, they still have not caught the guy who did the shooting, or the woman, whatever it is, the midget. Sheriff Department is still offering $175,000 reward for information leading to the conviction of the unknown government. All right? And here these fuckers are, right? Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department deputies are seen outside the hospital keeping fucks away from blocking the entrance. Blocking the fucking entrance to the hospital. And chanting, I hope they die. I hope the cops die. This is crazy. So let's get into a little bit of the theory that Black Lives Matter or somebody, Antifa, somebody is assisting that the fires are arson assisted. Now, I can't confirm or deny this recording. It appears to be a woman who jumps out of a car with a gun and summons a guy to get on his belly because she says she saw him lighting a fire. Let's watch.
Get on the floor! Get on the floor, lay down! Lay down! What are you doing?
All right. Now, he got down on his knees pretty fast. Let's watch again. I just want to watch you again. Is it staged? I don't know.
Get on the floor!
So there's a guy.
Get on the floor!
get on the floor, and he immediately gets on the floor. Why? Because he saw the gun?
Did you light anything on fire?
I don't know if it's a cop. It doesn't say it's a cop, but it's someone with a gun.
Smoke, where are your
It's a
fucking
woman with a
cigarettes?
gun. I don't see a badge.
Did you light anything on fire?
I never saw a cop put a gun behind their back like that. That's unpolice like. You point the guy you just saw him commit arson, and if he's fast, he can grab a weapon and shoot you with the gun behind you. Why aren't you pointing the gun at him? Hold the
He's
gun
got
on
matches
him,
on
right?
his hand.
Hold the gun on him as you call 911. So I'm not sure. She's alleging. It's very hard to hear, but she's alleging that he for some reason the person that put this up says he's a radical Muslim. I'm not buying this, but it's kind of fun to watch, right? Are we spreading propaganda by watching the propaganda? I don't know. Is it real?
What are you doing with the
Who
lighter?
put her in charge, right? So I don't know if this is real or not, but it's suspicious that the guy dropped to his knees so quick. Oh, fuck. Dropped to his knees so quickly.
What are you doing in my property?
That's a little suspicious. That's a little suspicious.
What are you doing with
I don't know
those
if you agree
matches
with
on
that,
your
but
hand?
that was suspicious. We don't know who the woman is.
You smoke, where are your fucking cigarettes? Did you
It's very hard to hear, and especially with me keep talking over it. Let's try to listen.
face down? What are you doing in my property?
Oh, you know what? Let's try captions. Maybe captions. Where's the captions? I don't even have a caption button. Let me try to interpret. Let me
Get
listen.
on the floor and lay down.
Put your hands down.
What are you doing in my property?
What are you doing on my property? What are you doing on my property?
Did you light anything on fire?
Did you light anything on fire? What are you doing on my property? Did you light anything on fire?
What are you doing with those matches on your head?
What are you doing with those matches in your hand?
You smoke.
I smoke.
Where are your fucking cigarettes?
Where are your cigarettes? She asks.
Did you light anything up on fire?
Did you light anything else? Did you light anything up on fire?
What's your name?
What's your name? She tells him. He tells her.
You stay right there. I got the cops coming.
Stay right there. I have cops coming. So allegedly, according to this video, this guy is on her property. So she's within her rights to do exactly what she's doing, according to this. It's fascinating.
He's got matches on his hand.
He's got matches in his hand.
Make sure you snap pictures of him.
She's not very skilled because she keeps turning her back on the guy. Right? You don't know if he's packing a gun. You don't know. Right? Look at her head. That's bad. Right? If you're ever standing over a criminal like that, and you got him down for the count, you don't turn your back on him. Point the fucking gun and talk.
Did you go into the house? Where did you come up through? What are you doing with the lighter, with the matches?
What are you doing with the matches? She asks. He says cigarette.
That's why you only have matches on your hand.
Why is he a Muslim arsonist? Why is he a Muslim? Yeah, Farm Cat says no way the gun wouldn't be pointed at him, and she would be shaking. I think the gun pointing at him. I don't think a smart person, but a lot of people that have guns are not trained. Right? They don't know that. They don't know that this guy can flip around and shoot her. Right? Would she be shaking? Not necessarily. I mean, I wouldn't be shaking. I would be like, man, this is fun. Go ahead, move. I get to shoot you, and I get to shoot you on the ground. Fucking go ahead, man. I'm having fun. Vinny DiMartini says, good point. Who carries matches these days, right? Matches, because they're paper and they disappear. That's not, you wouldn't find the accelerant. But a lighter, if you drop the lighter, the evidence, that would probably be found underneath a fire somewhere, right? So, good point. It just looks like bad acting to me. It really does. A lot of waiting. I didn't watch it to the end, so I don't know what happens. I don't think anything happens. All right. So that was fun to watch. I don't know if it's real or not. It's getting some views. It's getting some traction. The guy who put it up says he got on YouTube, blocked him, banned him. Well, that's kind of evidence that it might be bullshit. So let's look at this. Is heart-wrenching. So we'll finish off with the dismay of this fire. Dozens dead. Let fake news report it. We still don't believe. This is not confirmation that it's all natural fires. The mainstream media has not come clean with it. But let's listen to the death toll. 24 people missing. Dozens confirmed dead. That's serious. This is getting very serious with this fire shit.
Continue to wreak havoc on the West Coast. So far, at least 35 people have been confirmed dead across 3 states, and 24 are missing. Recovery crews in some of the hardest hit areas now face the daunting task of going from one destroyed home to the next. And the smoke from the fires are creating some of the worst air quality in the world. Portland, Seattle, and San Francisco are now all among the top 5 cities when it comes to air quality. The impact can even be seen from space. NASA's satellite images show smoke and small particles floating above the continental U.S., stretching all the way to the East Coast. This eerie footage from the city of Talent, Oregon shows streets blanketed with retardant, but the efforts were no match for the flames. As you can see, the entire neighborhood was reduced to ruins.
Again, there's no precedence for this kind of destruction. I mean, we've never seen it, never seen anything like this, which leads one to believe that people are not being. Remember Smokey Bear? You remember, be careful in the woods. You remember Smokey the Bear? He would tell you, watch for forest fires. Don't light matches in the forest. Make sure your campfire is out. These cocksuckers are out in the woods waiting for opportunity, high winds and dry conditions, and then they're setting off fireworks.
Jonathan Vigliotti is tracking the disaster.
Crews are using cadaver dogs to search through charred rubble in southeastern Oregon.
Dale Albert says, amazing how the fires in the chat amazing how the fires miraculously stop at the Canadian border. That sure is, man. That's fucking crazy, right?
Looking for any sign of the missing.
Oh my God.
Fast-moving flames ripped through nearly half a dozen towns last week, giving residents little time to escape. Even heavy-duty fire retardant was not enough to save these homes. Some, like Ashley Britton, are seeing the destruction for the first time.
It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I had seen videos, but it's 1,000 times worse than I could have ever imagined.
Firefighters across the West have been battling shifting winds as they try to gain control of more than 100 fires. The hazardous smoke is so severe, the National Weather Service says it has created a haze across the country, all the way.
This is just for, again, keeping an eye on the dates. This is yesterday, CBS reporting. So this is just yesterday. This is not old. This is current, and now we're getting into missing people, missing pets, death. Death.
To Washington, D.C. And Alaska Airlines announced it was temporarily suspending flights to and from Portland, Oregon and Spokane, Washington due to the smoke. Dave Monroe lives in hard-hit Talent, Oregon.
There's something going on, that's for sure, man, because it's one thing after another.
There's something going on? What? Whoa, wait. What do you mean there's something going on, sir? What's something?
From Portland, Oregon and Spokane, Washington due to the smoke. Dave Monroe lives in hard-hit Talent, Oregon.
There's something going on, that's for sure, man, because
Are you a conspiracy theory? There's something going on? Are you allowed to say that on mainstream media? It'll be unchecked, of course.
it's one thing after another. Every summer we're burning up.
In California, wildfires have now burned an area larger than the size of Connecticut. The state's governor, Gavin Newsom.
I've been on so many fires over the last 7-8 years throughout the state. We've never been more stretched in our resources than over the last month.
American Idol judge Randy Jackson struggled with his health for years.
So I had to make a drastic big change and a big change quick.
All right, so Jonathan joins us now live from Chico, California, near the devastating North Complex fire.
I would just hope that every one of these politicians that's out there saying that it's devastating, it's horrible, we've never seen anything like it, we have to help everybody. When the evidence comes out that it was assisted, that it was arson assisted, I hope these guys are the first people to say, string the motherfuckers up, right? Rope them up. Rope them, burn them, set them on fire in the fire that they set on everybody else. Set a special fire just for them. I hope those are the guys that champion that cause when we find out the truth.
You know, hearing the gentleman in your piece there say, man,
We'll find out more of the truth.
Something's going on because, you know, one summer after the next we're burning up, and it really does feel like every summer we're doing a story about fires in California, but now it's not just California. I mean, the West Coast is on fire and homes being destroyed. It's heartbreaking, but the lives being lost, absolutely devastating. 15 people have been killed by fires since it sparked just 1 month ago. I presume that's in your area because it's more than that for all of the fires. But can you just sort of paint us a picture of what it's like on the front lines right now? What kinds of conditions are the crews facing?
Yeah, and that number of 15 dead, that applies just here to Butte County alone. The wind and the heat continuing to be a problem through much of the week, though.
You know how hard it is to find out how many people are dead? I remember one instance of fire here in New York, in Chinatown. And it was just I think 2 buildings burned, two apartment buildings, and it took a while before they actually found old people. They found, I think they found 2 dead bodies. They found 2 old people. They just couldn't get out of the house. They grab shit. They can't walk. They got a walker. Where are they grabbing? They're going nowhere. They sit back down and they die. So you're going to find a lot. Again, is this an attack on the elderly? I don't know. I always thought coronavirus, why did it attack so viciously? Why did it attack the elderly community for, reasons of, I mean, that's a conspiracy theory. That is my gut feeling. Based on Wall Street, experience, it's like it just became burdensome to carry all these old people. Death. I'll say this. I want to put something on the record. This is fucked up to say, but I'll say it. Excuse me. Murder. Why am I so high up here? I got to make sure I'm beautiful for my presentation. Murder, death, killing people. This is risky, but I'm going to say it. That killing people is not a real big deal in terms of Wall Street. When people die, that's not a big deal. Right? Losing money, that's a big deal. I'll give you an example. Like, for example, Purdue Pharma. Right? They killed how many millions of people with the opioid crises, right? They were pushing what's the drug? Oxycontin. They were pushing Oxycontin on people, and they knew it was addictive, far more addictive than heroin and deadly, right? It had a kind of a threshold where you would do too much and then you would die, right? Like fentanyl. Nonetheless, see that's business gone bad. It's not really. The point is, it's not really frowned upon on Wall Street. When you have nursing homes and a couple of thousand people die, how does it affect the business model? Are we liable? Yeah, we'll pay some money, but that's not a big deal. Nobody wants to pay out money. But the point is that actual killing people now is not really frowned upon in big business. That's a callous thing to say, but think about it. Right? When people die of food poisoning or some kind of bad vaccine or some kind of medical malpractice, they're not necessarily the companies that caused it or cancer or cancer because they were near some sort of toxic site, or they ingested something that killed them. It's just it's a business problem. We got a little problem here, and then we fix the problem. Well, we have politicians that will pay off. The point is that if you think Wall Street is okay, and you keep putting your money in there, just know that your death and your murder and your extinction is not such a bad idea to those people. Less people is a good idea. So we kill off a couple of people. Great, we burn out. Let's have a fire in Coney Island. We'll burn out all the poor people so that we can put in, wealthy communities throughout. We have people on the payroll. We got the Antifa. Call up Antifa. Let them set some fires. Political. We'll give them political. We'll give them a cushion. We'll give them a little cover, and let them go out there and do their dirty deeds. So again, be weary of the oligarchs. That's what I've been saying. God damn it, for 3 years. That if you defund these corporations, a lot of these things wouldn't be happening. A lot of Antifa, they're getting. I'm in the deep woods right now, but I said what I wanted to say. Let's continue.
Here in Chico, where we are, it has come down quite a bit, and that has really given a lot of relief to firefighters on the front lines. In fact, they've been able to contain this fire by 40%. That's a major advancement considering just a few days it was really raging out of control. Here in Chico, we're actually at a staging area. You can see the fire command post behind me. There are dozens of fire trucks, and we're watching as firefighters are getting ready to start their day and relieve those firefighters that have been working on the front lines overnight. Their mission is really twofold. Yesterday, we were there on the front lines as we watched firefighters go deep into the mountains where this fire is now burning in very remote areas. They, of course, are going to work on continuing to contain that fire line. But then, of course, the crews that are going in to clear out the roads, a lot of fallen trees and debris, trying to clear that access so that recovery teams can go and can assess the damage and can continue to look for the missing. We mentioned that number of 15 dead. There are still 7 people here in Butte County alone that are missing. And of course, we want to talk about Oregon just briefly, where there are 24 people that are still missing. And we're now getting word that mobile morgues are being brought in to assist in the disaster there. We're going to be heading
mobile morgues. Remember those?
Heading there after we leave you here this morning.
Absolutely heartbreaking, Jonathan. And we saw.
So that's their report. Let's keep going. So here's some drone video of the wreckage. This is with musical accompaniment. So where are we? This is NBC, ABC. Drone video shows Oregon City nearly wiped out by wildfire. Imagine imagine like fleeing a fire and then coming back to gather up your stuff and there's nothing there. Just burned to the ground, rubble. Not a single house survives. Even your fucking car, if you park your car, that went up in smoke too. Look at all the burned out cars. This is crazy, man. Crazy times, right? I mean, if there's any connection whatsoever to arson, to people who deliberately did this, it's treason. It should be punished by capital punishment. It is interesting. A couple of houses missed. You notice how selectively certain things just don't burn. It's just the wind. I mean, you can attribute that to wind. If everything around you is burning, it's just strong wind. 40-mile-an-hour wind. It's a lot of wind. And if it's just not burning and blowing in a certain direction. They got lucky, man. This house is good. Dento says this is a space-based energy weather. Is it? Is this an energy weapon causing this, or is it just our own ignorance, our own climate ignorance, and then humans opportunizing it, taking opportunity to use it for political purposes? Show me the rays falling from the sky. from space. It's a good theory. I'm just poking holes in your theory. Prove it. Prove that it was an energy weapon. It was a heart weapon. They shot it at everybody's heart and stopped their hearts. You don't need an energy weapon to start a fucking fire. You just need the opportunity. You ride Mother Nature. I think it's rather simple. What's this? Small town of Gates and Mill City in Oregon. Chickens look good. Chickens are fat. Sadly, people are going to eat the chickens. Well, maybe the vegetarians were right. The chickens survived and the people are dead. Or, yeah, this is your house. Come back and gather up your stove and your fucking everything else. Just, it's gone. All the wood is gone. It's nothing but pieces of metal. Somebody's boat. That was a wooden boat. It's devastating. Wow. Fire. Who would have known, man? Whoa, we got hoodwinked on this one. If this is arson, man, we got hoodwinked. We got fucking. We weren't paying attention. We got caught with our mouths open. Right? Got caught like, huh? What? It's Black Lives Matter, right? Meanwhile, it's Antifa leading it, burning people out. For a socialist agenda. We want socialism. What does that mean? We want socialist stuff. Ooh, guy's motorcycle got. Imagine that. Fucking fires don't burn Harleys. That's the lesson there. If you have a Harley, right, the fire won't even fuck with a Harley. You don't fuck with someone's Harley, man. Even the fire say, you know what, man, that's too much, guys. Go the other way. I know. I'm having fun with this, right? I'm not supposed to have fun with it. All right. SG Commander says a giant laser orbiting the Earth is as possible.
One of our anchor businesses. It was generated.
A giant laser orbiting the Earth is as possible as a laser you can carry in your pocket that will light a cigarette. Okay. Wouldn't we see a stream? Wouldn't we see anything? We wouldn't see anything. We wouldn't see anything coming down from the higher ups. Why not just throw a pack of firecrackers into a dried area? Right? Isn't it the same?
Operationally owned here in Mill City, Kelly Lumber, hardware store, lumber yard. Great people in the community, and just a sad loss for us. So they had their lumber yard out behind. And
George's son throws up the idea that congratulates Bernie Sanders. This is Bernie Sanders' fault, George's son says. Was it Bernie Sanders who said burn the joint down, or he said revolution? Bernie Sanders, this is important. Bernie Sanders did say revolution, and a lot of people, certainly not in the... Look, Bernie Sanders' campaign was infiltrated by Antifa. We know that. Just as Black Lives Matter was I don't think there's any discrepancy, there's any confusion there. That has already been determined, that Antifa, a couple of bad apples, infiltrated at the high level, at the community organizer level, right? They were important players in the Bernie Sanders campaign, and they were Antifa and they were radicalized, and they had all these ideas in place. But so did they also. It's only a fraction of the people. The point is this the I think the better question is, are the young people that voted for Bernie Sanders, that got swindled again, twice, right? Doing the right thing, voting, are they with this kind of thing? Are the young people of America okay with burning out people and smashing stuff because they believe the system doesn't work? There is an argument to be made. Do we thank Bernie Sanders for that? I don't know. I think we he was the leader. He was the leader.
This was the hardware store portion of it right here. This is the one you'd see in all the videos of the fire raging on in Mill City as it was happening. There's some houses up behind it. that also burned down, some across the highway. This is the section of Mill City that got burnt. I don't want to minimize the loss here, but it was, Mill City got blessed with being able to contain it to this area. It's pretty sad. We lost a couple of really nice historic structures in town, a number of residences. Just, it's hard to even think about.
Got to feel for him, man. Shit is crazy. What else we got? I think I got one more. Yeah, here's one more. It's a little more aerial footage. What is this? Santa Rosa. Homes in Fountain Grove. Whoa. Just entire areas blown out. You know, you got to cross your fingers for the insurance money, right? If this is you, if you are here, hope, that the insurance money kicks in. It does seem that the fire was very friendly to houses and left a lot of the trees alone. You know, houses are old wood. It's just burned out properties as far as you can see. It's amazing. The whole fucking mountain on fire. Incredible. Wherever there's a house, there's a pile. Wherever there was a house, there's a pile of ashes. Nothing survived. This is good aerial stuff, right? This is good. There's nothing to come back to. There's nothing to loot. There's nothing to protect. All there is you know, plots of land. You know, plots of land that people allegedly own. Yeah, the observation that there are a lot of trees still standing. It seems like the fires kind of, you know, went right around. But then again, the house is old. The house is old wood. The house is old, dried out wood. It's very flammable. But it is amazing just to what degree the fire worked. I mean, this is just miles and miles burned out. Burned out homes. Imagine, I mean, I just to myself, losing everything that you own, like, especially if you've lived in that house your whole life, and all your childhood, you know, memories that you drag along with you, your favorite books, your photo collection. You know, what we'll do is take pictures. I still have photos, things that are collectible, things that can never be replaced, letters, first girlfriend, whatever. Your favorite stuff, your guitars, all your stuff. All of your fucking stuff, even the ugly clothes that you carry, your fat clothes, your skinny clothes, furniture, chair, your favorite chair. It's gone. It's just gone. Are we better off without our stuff? Are we better off? Is this a gift from God? Right? Now you're free of your stuff. Like the turtle carries his house on his back. You are now free. Mother Nature has freed you of your stuff. Looks like a couple of houses survived, right? Look at that one house. Look at that one fucking house right there. Look at that shit. Saw that? Look at this one house. Look at this one house survived. One house survived, and all the other ones are smoldering. The other ones are framed. It's like hitting the jackpot. But why would you want to live there when everything's burned out? Are you even allowed to be there? There's no reason for anybody to go back to this place. You just go and say, okay, everything's done. It's rubble. Maybe you can dig into a basement and find some relics, souvenirs. For the most part, they're fucked. So anyway. Conte reporting on the fire. Trying to give everybody a fair shake here. Trying not to be a dick about it. This is arson, man. You gotta string these motherfuckers up. This, wow. That's a 6-minute helicopter ride. And there's nothing but burned out. Burn the fucker out. Burned out. Where is Santa Rosa? It's California. Where's Santa Rosa? Santa Rosa, this is California. It's not even Oregon. California taking a hit. California mountain. Northern California. Sterling Price reiterates, it's funny that the fires stop at the Canadian border. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. What's up, Sterling Price? Vinny B. Martini on the chat. Evil girls. We talked about that earlier. It is mysterious. The fire stopped short of the Canadian border.
For my meal kit delivery, I chose the vegetarian.
It is fucking crazy, right, man? It's just fucking... What kind of times are we living in, man? Are we living in the apocalypse? Are we living in a time where the only thing that makes sense is heavy music? I don't know. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you today. Have a good day, man. Great day. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Too wiped out. You're following the chat. Thank you for an excellent chat. Very refreshing. Very stimulating. You stimulate me. I stimulate you. We stimulate each other. Keep this crazy thing going. Try to keep each other sane. Try to stay in the truth. I'm not always right. I wasn't right about the arson thing. I thought I had it. I thought it was more, climate change. Upon further investigation, it does look like something has accelerated. Something was accelerating. Accelerant is defined as something that helps and assists. Throwing gas on damp weeds. Anyway, thank you very much for sharing. Peace out. See you guys later.